The Academy Awards don't always get it right, and these 10 Best Picture winners have aged like milk instead of fine wine. Though the Oscars are considered the pinnacle of film award excellence, the yearly ceremony is no stranger to controversy. The inherent issues of pitting one piece of art against another inevitably leads to a few ruffled feathers every time. The Best Picture category is especially controversial because it aims to recognize, according to the Academy voters, the greatest film of the year. Because only a handful of films are actually considered, the accuracy of the Best Picture category is called into question quite frequently. While most Best Picture winners are recognized as classics, others are immediately doubted by the public. Retrospect is a powerful lens with which to view Best Picture winners, and many don't look as good as the years pass by. Sometimes a film is simply the wrong choice, and it looks bad when compared to other movies nominated in the category. Other times, a film has content that doesn't hold up. On a few rare occasions, the Academy makes a pick so baffling that it calls into question the validity of the entire category. The Academy makes a few questionable picks every decade, and that trend goes all the way back to the beginning of the Oscars in the 1920s. Though it's unclear how the Best Picture winners of the 2020s will fare, it's inevitable that a few will age like milk as time goes by. Some of the picks on this list are decent films, but don't rise to the high standards of Best Picture. 10 Green Book, 2018. Enough time has passed to safely say that Green Book is a bad Best Picture winner. Peter Farrelly's period drama about racism in the 1960s means well, but is absolutely toothless compared to other films that tackle the same issues. It drew criticism back in 2018, and those arguments look more and more valid as each year passes. The biggest problem with the film is that it doesn't have anything profound to say, and filters the black experience through the lens of a white filmmaker. This is a common problem with Hollywood movies, but recent years have seen major strides in rectifying historical wrongs. Hence, Green Book is an aged mess right off the bat. 9 The Artist, 2011. There is nothing inherently wrong with The Artist, and it's actually a pretty entertaining movie about making movies. It made history by being the first mostly silent film to win Best Picture since the very first Academy Awards, and it was certainly a novelty at the time. Unfortunately, novelty wears off quickly in the realm of modern cinema. It's one of the least rewatchable films from that era, and hasn't left much of an impression on the industry. It failed to make the New York Times 21st Century Movies lists, a damning indictment of its utter lack of impact. Hollywood loves a movie about itself, thus The Artist got a bump over the other movies in that year's Best Picture category. 8 Crash, 2004. Considering all the controversies surrounding the Oscars, it's amazing how divisive 2004's Crash turned out to be. The weepy melodrama snagged Best Picture over Brokeback Mountain, a film many considered to be the clear winner for the year. In the end, Crash is a serviceable movie, but it certainly isn't up to the caliber of other Best Picture winners. The win was hated at the time, and it has only gotten worse as time went by. The film's ham-fisted message feels crass and overdone, and the complete lack of subtlety makes for a decidedly blunt viewing experience. All those arguments rang true upon release, and they continue to taint the film more than 2 decades later. 7 Shakespeare in Love, 1998. The Best Picture success of Shakespeare in Love revealed to the world at large, for the first time, that the Academy Awards are inherently political. The infamous campaign to smear the other nominees, namely Saving Private Ryan, allowed the middling period romantic film to get the biggest prize. However, its reputation was permanently ruined. John Madden's multi-award winner isn't a bad film by any stretch of the imagination, but it's more of a fluffy popcorn flick than a decade-defining classic. The fact that it is only brought up as an example of bad Oscar wins isn't a good indication of the movie's legacy. Shakespeare in Love shelf life expired as soon as it won the Little Gold Trophy. 6 Driving Miss Daisy, 1989. 30 years before Green Book, Driving Miss Daisy won Best Picture in a cloud of similar controversy. Though the play remains a favorite of community theaters around the country, the movie adaptation isn't as fondly remembered. Morgan Freeman and Jessica Tandy are brilliant, but the whole film has a performative tone that hasn't aged well. It relies exclusively on simplistic stereotypes and doesn't go more than an inch below the surface when exploring a very rich and complex issue. It won, while Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, a challenging classic that also explores racial dynamics, didn't even get a nomination. Sadly, the Academy didn't learn any lessons from Driving Miss Daisy. 5 Out of Africa, 1985. Out of Africa was a safe and easy pick for the Academy, and the epic romance won 7 of the 11 Oscars for which it was nominated. A showcase for its strong performances, the movie ironically didn't win any of the acting categories. However, it cleaned up in most of the major behind-the-scenes categories, like Best Directing and Best Writing. Like a lot of sweeping dramas, Out of Africa is a movie made to be watched once and then promptly forgotten. It's a good movie, and its award success proves it, but it is painfully unremarkable in retrospect. Many of the best movies of the 80s were completely ignored by the Academy, so Out of Africa won Best Picture in a less-than-crowded field. For Gandhi, 1982. Though Gandhi hasn't aged like milk, its Best Picture victory certainly has. The massive biopic harkened back to the opulent days of Hollywood's golden age, telling the life of one man on a scale not seen in decades. It's the kind of movie that the Academy loves, and it was handsomely rewarded with plenty of gold in 1983. Films like E.T. the Extraterrestrial and Tootsie were also nominated for Best Picture at the 55th Academy Awards, but both lost out to Gandhi. Judging purely by enduring legacy, the Academy missed the mark by giving the trophy to the biopic. Not only are the aforementioned losing flicks more entertaining, they are both still celebrated as classics while Gandhi is not.